I still remember the exact sentence that ruined my morning. "Kid, this isn't your place. Go wait with the rest of them." Not yelled, not whispered, just said like a fact, like gravity. And somehow that made it worse. My name's Marcus Reed. At least that's what I'll call myself here. Different names, different city, same kind of story you've probably heard before, or maybe lived yourself. I was 19 years old, standing at the starting line of one of the biggest amateur road races in the country, a race people train years to get into. I'd earned my spot. I had the paperwork, the qualifying time, everything. But none of that mattered once a certain official looked at me and decided I didn't fit the picture in his head. He looked me up and down. My shoes were old taped at the sides. My shirt wasn't branded. My hair wasn't neat enough for his comfort. He didn't ask my name. He didn't ask how long I'd trained. He just tilted his head and said, "You sure you're in the right area?" You know what he meant. I knew what he meant. We both did. I tried to stay calm. I said, "Sir, I qualified. My bib number's right here." He didn't even glance at it. He waved over security like he was calling a waiter. "Check him," he said. "We've had people sneak in before." That's when something inside me went quiet. Not angry quiet, focused quiet. The kind that shows up right before you decide you're done explaining yourself to people who never planned on listening. They searched my bag in front of everyone. Pulled out my phone, my water bottle, a folded photo I carried in my pocket. People stared. Some filmed. Some looked away. I felt heat in my face, but I kept my hands at my sides. I wasn't going to give them the reaction they wanted. In the end, they didn't kick me out of the race. That would have been too obvious. Instead, they walked me back, way back. Told me I'd have to start with a later wave nearly 20 minutes behind where I belonged. "If you're really that good," the official said, shrugging, "you'll make it up." Yeah, he actually said that. That was Act 1. The humiliation. The moment you're supposed to shrink, apologize for existing, maybe quit and save yourself the trouble. But here's what they didn't know. They didn't know where I came from. I grew up in a part of the city people only mention when something bad happens there. Sirens were background noise. Running was how I escaped. I ran to clear my head. Ran because it was free. Ran because no one could stop me once my feet hit the pavement. I trained before sunrise after double shifts in the rain and the cold, with shoes that should have been retired years earlier. I didn't run to be impressive. I ran because it made me feel like I existed. The person who taught me that was my older cousin Daniel. He was the first one who ever told me, "Your legs don't lie. People do, systems do, but your legs. They always tell the truth." He passed away 2 years before that race. Heart condition, nobody caught in time. I carried his old wristband with me every run. It sounds corny, I know, but it mattered to me. So, when they shoved me back behind hundreds of runners and the later start gun finally went off, I didn't panic. I looked down at my watch. I did the math. It was brutal. To place where I knew I could place, I'd have to run faster than I ever had in my life. I smiled, not because it was funny, because it was familiar. The first mile hurt. The second mile hurt worse. I weaved through crowds past people 2, 3 at a time. Some cheered. Some cursed because I brushed past them. I didn't hear most of it. All I heard was my breathing and Daniel's voice in my head, calm as ever, saying, "One step at a time." By mile 8, I was passing runners who'd started nearly 20 minutes ahead of me. By mile 12, spectators were yelling my bib number. Someone shouted, "That kid's flying." Another voice said, "That's the guy they moved back." The tone changed. Curiosity turned into energy. Energy turned into belief. That's when Act 2 hit. The shift. The moment the story stops being about what was done to you and starts being about what you're doing despite it. Around mile 15, the course curved past the main spectator stretch. Big screens, announcers, cameras. And suddenly, I saw him again. The official. Standing with other VIPs, coffee in hand, laughing about something. He glanced at the course, then did a double take. His smile vanished. He asked someone next to him a question. They checked a tablet, then another. I could almost read his lips from where I was running. That can't be him. "Oh, but it was." was. I passed the elite pack one by one. Each pass felt unreal, like a dream you don't want to wake up from. My legs burned. My lungs screamed. But something deeper kept pushing. Pride. Grief. Years of being underestimated compressed into forward motion. By the final mile, the crowd was a wall of sound. People were chanting my number, chanting my name, even though most of them had learned it 10 minutes earlier. I pulled Daniel's wristband from my pocket and held it up as I ran. Cameras caught it. I didn't care. That moment wasn't for them. I crossed the finish line in a time nobody expected. Not the announcers, not the officials, not the guy who told me to go wait with the rest of them. I collapsed onto the pavement laughing and crying at the same time because my body finally understood it was allowed to stop. That was the win everyone saw. The headline moment. The clip that got shared everywhere. What people didn't see was what came next. The official found me after the finish. His face looked different, smaller somehow. He cleared his throat and said, "Son, there's been a misunderstanding." I looked up at him still on the ground and waited. He said, "I owe you an apology." I didn't jump up. I didn't say thank you. I just said, "Yeah." "You do." That silence between us lasted longer than the race. Over the next few days, the story exploded. Interviews, messages, people arguing online about whether what happened to me was discrimination or just procedure. Funny how those debates always happen after the damage is done. Here's the thing, though. The ending didn't tie itself up neatly. It never does. Some officials wanted my result reviewed. Technicalities. Start time discrepancies. Paperwork. Words people use when they're uncomfortable admitting they were wrong. For a minute, it felt like they were trying to take it back. Like winning once wasn't enough. Like I had to keep proving I deserved what I already earned. That's when I realized something important. The race wasn't the hardest part. The hardest part was being believed. I didn't lawyer up. I didn't scream on social media. I showed my training logs, my data, my consistency. The boring truth of thousands of miles no one filmed. Eventually, they upheld my time. No asterisk, no apology press conference, just a quiet confirmation email. By then, I'd already learned the lesson that mattered. Winning doesn't erase bias, it just exposes it. People still argued. Some said the official was just doing his job. Some said I was lucky. Some said I was inspirational, which is a word that sounds nice but sometimes feels like a box they put you in so they don't have to change anything. I went back to training, back to early mornings, back to quiet streets. But something was different. I wasn't running to prove I belonged anymore. I was running because I knew I did whether anyone else agreed or not. That's Act 3. Not the victory lap, the aftermath. The part where you decide who you're going to be after the noise fades. A few months later, I ran another race. New city, new officials, same nerves. This time, no one questioned me. Same shoes, same face, different treatment. Funny how that works once your name shows up on a results page. Sometimes I think about that official. I don't hate him. I don't forgive him either. Not fully. What he did wasn't personal. That's what makes it dangerous. It was automatic, comfortable, normal. And that's what I want to ask you sitting there watching this. How many times have you seen someone judged before they ever got a chance to move? How many times have you done it without realizing? Or had it done to you and were told you were too sensitive for noticing? Was what happened to me wrong? Or was it just how the system works and the real problem is that we're used to it? Drop a comment. Argue if you want. Share a story if you've got one. Because the truth is, there are a lot of people still standing at the back of the line being told to prove themselves again and again. And some of them are running faster than anyone expects.